This is the disturbing reality of what happens when a cult trains you to betray your own blood, and one Duggar wife may be beyond saving. Hi everyone, and hope you're all doing well. How was your weekend? I wasn't feeling great, honestly, so I didn't upload for a couple of days. But I'm back now, and feeling okay again. Thank you for sticking with me. Every single time a major scandal hits that family, there is one place they seem to run to again and again. It is a theme park in Missouri called Silver Dollar City, located in Branson, just a couple of hours away from where they live. This is not just any amusement park. It is built around Christian themes, and they absolutely love using it as a backdrop. Now, I know regular Christian families go there too, and it is a fun place for locals because they have events and rides. But for this particular family, it has become something else entirely. It has become a photo op factory. Whenever things get ugly behind the scenes, they show up there. When one of the brothers was under federal investigation and his property was raided, within a week, the family made sure to have a very public appearance at Silver Dollar City.
Why?
Because it gives off an image of wholesome Christian family values. The entire park is themed around faith, and they have learned over the years to weaponize that setting. They stand there smiling, acting like nothing is wrong, while the world is watching their legal troubles unfold. The same brother was seen there after the raid. Then, while he was under indictment, before and during his trial, the family kept going back. Various siblings were spotted there within weeks of that guilty verdict. They were walking around the park like they did not have a care in the world, just a couple of weeks after a jury found him guilty. Now, I want to be clear. Not every family member should be held accountable for what one sibling does. But the reality is, they are all tied together in this system. They are either enabling the behavior, contributing to the cover-up, or repeating the same patterns themselves. The father has full control over the children. A lot of the time, he sends them to places where they can be seen on purpose.
He wants the photo op.
He wants the world to see a happy, united family.
It is all about the image for him.
So, I really should not have been surprised when I received a message recently saying that a specific daughter-in-law was seen at that same theme park again with her husband and another couple. The person who saw them did not take a picture because the daughter-in-law was looking right at her. But the witness said she was definitely there, along with her husband and another brother and his wife and their baby. The two older children from that couple were not present. Maybe they were left at home. But here is what is strange. The father is known for sending family members away on trips or weekend getaways whenever a heavy news cycle is about to hit. He tries to get them out of the state or even out of the country. It is a pattern. Another couple was recently seen in Washington, D.C., for no obvious reason. The goal is always the same. Either keep people away from the media so you can control the information, or get a new photo op that makes everyone look normal. But what the witness said next was truly unsettling. They thought it was deeply weird to see this young mother at an amusement park.
Why?
Because her children are currently in foster care. On top of that, this same woman had recently been overheard on the phone complaining about how weak she felt. She said she could barely get up and could barely function. So to see her walking around an amusement park, a place her own kids would have loved, but without her kids, while her children are in state care, struck the witness as incredibly off. Optically, it looked terrible. Why are you at a place designed for families when your own family is broken apart? Adults can go to amusement parks, yes. There are rides for grown-ups. But mostly, it is a family attraction. So you go to a family attraction without your children when you should be at home getting your life organized, finding a job, separating from your husband, and figuring out how to get your kids back. But instead, she is doubling down. She is sticking with that family. For those wondering what the current status is, here it is. She is still with her husband. She is not separating. She is not divorcing. She is also still not speaking to her own parents and siblings. As far as I can tell, she has been so deeply brainwashed that the way she is treating her own family is genuinely evil. I want to be really careful here because I am not saying her parents are perfect people. They got wrapped up in this cult system themselves, which exposed their children to things they never should have been exposed to. They have made mistakes as parents. Every parent does. But I think they are realizing the magnitude of those mistakes now. And it is incredibly hard to undo brainwashing that has gone on for years. The thing is, her younger sister is the person who has made accusations against the husband. And instead of showing any concern or empathy, this young mother is reportedly gleeful about the suffering her own parents and sister are going through. I have never seen anything like it. It is evil. We saw this same transformation happen with another woman in this family. When her husband was arrested, she became cold, vindictive, and completely disconnected from reality. She is gone. I recently spoke to someone who used to work inside that woman's home. They told me that since the arrest, she has turned into a monster. She has completely lost touch with reality. She is so brainwashed, so gaslit, so deranged by the lies fed to her that she actually believes them. And people who know the situation fear that if this younger wife becomes like that older one, it will be even worse. Here is something disturbing that happened. The family apparently connected the older wife with another woman whose husband was convicted of selling illegal prescriptions, including opioids. He was sentenced to 40 years in prison. He was guilty. And this woman became friends with the older wife because she is also from the same religious group. They now sit together and feed each other's delusions that their husbands are innocent and being framed. They cycle through persecution stories over and over again. This is not an accident. This is baked into the teachings of the group's founder. He spent a lot of time talking about being falsely accused because he himself was accused repeatedly of serious crimes. So the entire framework of this organization is built on the idea that all accusations must be false and are only made against those who are mighty and strong. I fear this young mother will lose her footing in reality the longer this goes on. The woman who worked for the older couple for years says the older wife is completely gone. There is no reasoning with her. The level of vindictiveness and anger she is toward anyone who says her husband is guilty is cruel. She thinks people who speak the truth are being disloyal because the family name is everything in this cult. You are supposed to defend the family name at all costs. Having a good name is drilled into these people from birth. So when you are in a cult that teaches you everything is persecution, you will bend over backwards, do mental gymnastics, and twist reality to convince yourself that what happened isn't true or isn't real. You can turn yourself into a monster. The founder taught children that if they are assaulted, it is not really them being assaulted. He taught that their bodies have been dedicated to God. So it is God's temple that has been defiled, not theirs. He said the perpetrator can get the body, but cannot get the spirit. And if you are bitter or upset about it, that is your fault. Because they did not do it to you. They did it to God's body. If you let the perpetrator get to your spirit, that is on you. He calls it a spirit of bitterness. Then, he gives victims a long list of attributes they will supposedly gain from being assaulted. Better humility, more compassion, more kindness, more strength, more wisdom. He has a bullet point diagram he uses during these sessions. And he tells them that God allowed it to happen because of what you wore, who your friends were, what kind of music you listened to. Then, he tells them they need to forgive the person who did it and give it to God. So they never take it seriously because that is how they have been programmed. Think about how many times this family watched those videos. That same narrative was reinforced into their brains over and over again. You create a cult that does not take abuse seriously and where victims are blamed. Then he tells everyone you cannot tell on anyone. If you do, you are just being bitter. If you cannot let it go, you are just being bitter. His favorite word is bitter. Having feelings is bitter. Feeling upset is bitter. Trying to hold someone accountable is bitter. Not letting go is bitter. But the problem is, in this cult, they cannot let it go because it keeps happening and there is no accountability. So they weaponize the word bitterness against the women who are feeling bitter to protect those who are making them bitter. And the women are not bitter. They have been abused. Now I want to give you an idea of what was going on inside that family during the time that one brother did what he did to his sister-in-law. This will help you understand how out of control everything really was. I have told you a little bit about another brother who had a tablet and was looking at adult content. He got moved into a treehouse and continued looking at it. Then he was told he had an addiction. I do not actually think they have addictions in the clinical sense. I think they are taught that even thinking about something is an addiction. This theology existed long before any of the more recent offshoots. Every boy in that family has struggled. The youngest boys were dealing with the aftermath of what the oldest brother did. They felt that fallout aggressively. Their lives became centered around watching how all of it was minimized, normalized, and treated like it was no big deal. And they learned from that. Then the father became even crazier about trying to control everything. So much so that some of the boys started acting out in really inappropriate ways. I've talked to several women who were friends with one particular young brother. And I have to say, his behavior probably takes the cake as the most disturbing. This family controls their kids so much that most of the time, the children feel locked up and afraid to say anything. They behave because they know everyone is watching. But this one brother did not seem to care about that at all. I was told stories about behaviors he exhibited where he would graphically describe acts he wanted to do with people. Graphically. Someone told me there was a day when he was at his house, just talking about how all he wanted to do was use his fingers on a girl. Then he was sitting on a bed or a couch in front of a bunch of people and apparently started acting out the motions while sticking his tongue out and taking pleasure in the simulation. Now I know teenage boys can be gross and crass, but this was happening in situations where it was not appropriate at all. Another story I was told was about role-play activities at a camp during a conference run by one of his brothers. This young man had a propensity to get into role plays with girls where the scenario always involved them dating, him getting them pregnant, and them having all kinds of intimacy. He would take it to levels that had nothing to do with the actual exercise. They were supposed to be role-playing a car accident, and all he could think about was saying, "I got you pregnant because I put my thing in you." Just completely inappropriate. And these were girls just trying to get through an event. He did this to all kinds of different girls. The examples I have been given about him are really off the wall. Separately, anytime he was near a girl, it was all about how he was going to get them pregnant. He was not respecting them, or even reading the cues that he was making them uncomfortable. There was a girl I mentioned before. This has come from multiple people, and I have seen pictures. I know these people know him. It is all verified. But the girls do not want their names attached because they do not want to be in the media, and I respect that. When he was around 16 or 17, he was what you might call a player. He was kissing all kinds of girls and sometimes going too far and not respecting boundaries. There were 3 or 4 girls total that he would go between. His now wife was one of them, but there were others. Some of the girls liked the attention, but some did not. He really liked one particular girl, and he was caught kissing her. That same girl had been taken advantage of by another young man from a different famous family. The guy seemed to pass this one girl around and acted like, because she would kiss, they could all have a go at her. They were not respecting her. She was being treated like a commodity, not like a human being. I do not know if she would say she was assaulted, but to me, it sounds very predatory. They all communicated that this one girl would go there, so they all tried to go there. They love-bombed her, gave her attention, and used her. Well, this young brother was one of the boys doing that to her the entire time he was engaged to someone else. So after he got caught kissing this girl and doing all kinds of inappropriate things at 16 or 17 years old, the mother said to someone that she needed to get him married before he actually did something bad or worse. The mother was keenly aware that her son was being predatory. Keenly. It was not normal boy curiosity. He was aggressive. He was inappropriate. Some of those girls were so disgusted by the way he acted. You have to understand that in this religious world, even talking about this stuff makes people embarrassed. But it was so out of place that it made it even more egregious. And there was no awareness that what he was doing was impacting people. He did not care. He thought it was funny. So the mother said, "I need to get him married before he hurts someone." Even though up to that point, there had been complaints to her directly about his behavior, about what he was saying, about what he was doing, about situations that girls found themselves in with him that they were not comfortable with. So they arranged for him to marry a girl. He kind of liked her, but not as much as the other girl who would go further with him. And when he was engaged, I am not kidding you, a witness said she was at an event where they were all doing a singing thing together. They were backstage getting ready to go on stage. She and her friends saw this engaged brother pinning a different girl up against a wall and making out with her. 3 weeks before his wedding. Meanwhile, on social media and on the show, he was posting about how much in love he was and how he could not wait to get married. Then they did their first kiss on camera and pretended like he had never kissed anyone before. 3 weeks before that date, A witness says he had another girl pinned against a wall backstage. She could not tell if the girl was okay because it was dark. She told a bunch of people, and nobody believed her. She said that has always haunted her. That one girl was being targeted by all these boys, and it never felt okay. And the mother knew. She literally said out loud that she needed to marry him off before he did something really bad. She knows what her sons are doing. They would not let him be with the girl he actually liked.
Why?
Because that girl wore pants and came from a family they could not fully control. They needed a family that would be more obedient. Even though the family of the girl he married is obsessed with this clan, they do not like the way the boys are known for being predatory. But in a culture where girls have no control, no say, and no one will believe them when they speak up, they are easy prey. And this young brother allegedly really exploits that. When I talk to people about who is the worst of the younger brothers, they all say his name. They all cannot believe his wife married him. They are not surprised that the couple does not have any children because they do not think he even wants to be married. They would not be surprised if he is cheating. They fully believe that the mother knows what her boys are doing. And it is not that they are being typical teenagers. In the eyes of these young women, these boys are being predatory. His behavior disturbed a lot of people. So if anyone in that family wants to pretend they do not understand or that they are shocked or blindsided the next time one of them gets in trouble or arrested, just remember this. They know what their sons are doing. They were in such a rush to marry this one off that they literally shipped him down to another state because he was creating so many problems at home. There were so many complaints about him that they sent him to live with another family who ran one of their religious centers.
He worked there for a while.
The father of that family worked with boys who had these kinds of issues. So they felt like if they sent him there, that father could watch him and fix him. They moved him out of the house before he was even 17. He lived with that family for about a year. Then he got married, and he and his wife still live with that same family to this day. It is not a marriage of love where two people are trying to build a life together. The wife is trapped in a marriage where she is basically a hostage used to control a monster. That is how it seems to me. All of this is alleged. But they know who their sons are. This young man was such a problem that they had to move him out of the house.
Who does that sound like?
Other brothers were also moved out at different times. Another young brother is currently at a Bible college. So, just remember, do not be surprised. Because the mother has allegedly admitted to people that she knows. And she thinks the cure is to pass the problem on to a wife. To a woman. To give her deviant son an outlet to mistreat and harm that woman. She thinks if you give them a wife, it will all go away.
But it does not go away.
It does not stop. That is what I wanted to share about the mother allegedly. That story about the young brother comes from 4 or 5 different people. When 4 or 5 people are telling me the same story and there are photographs, and they're all outside of this world, I am going to go with the conclusion that this behavior is not being made up. Were you expecting to hear that this particular brother might be the creepiest? Tell me what you think in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you found it informative. Please subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and click the notification bell so you never miss an update. Thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you in the next one.